Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Anything But Hold'em. We are here with a heads-up challenge today. A good friend of the stream, Josh Bowman, has been chatting about playing heads up with me for quite a while now, and so we finally got things going. I decided not to play the weekly round 2 today. It's a pot limit Hold'em, pot limit Omaha mix, which is not something that I'm terribly thrilled with. I might play that at some other time. I just decided not to go into it today. It was a bit busy right at the time to enter, so wasn't really set to roll on that. But here we are with good friend Josh Bowman, finally getting some heads up sit and go action happening. Basically, what this is a mixed Omaha high-low game. What does that mean? That means that we play fixed limit Omaha high-low, then we play pot limit Omaha high-low. I will be getting I'll be getting the screen up on the screen here very soon. The table up very shortly. Just getting that set now. Alrighty, so we're just a couple of hands in. We haven't been playing for very long on this table yet. So we're just getting things going now. I've hit a nice pair of kings over there. Remember, this is Omaha high-low, so there's our lobby here as well. Not sure that's terribly relevant today, but we got the 6-2, we got the pair of jacks, we got some hearts, so I think I'm pretty good with this one so far. Been trying to get things set up here, so I haven't been paying a huge amount of attention to the game. I'm going to see one more street here. We pulled in our heart draw, so I think I'm actually pretty happy with that. I'm going to put money in the pot here. Josh is tanking. And gave us the pot. The two suits, the ace-8 obviously isn't great, but when we're playing heads up, remember, we need to be playing a wider range of hands here, so it's important to remember that we're not always going to be playing premium hands. We had a pair of 9s here, which is not a terrible place to be. Now we've had a trip 9s, so I think we're pretty happy with our spot. His raise here would indicate that he's either trying to rep a 9 or possibly a heart draw. So if he was playing the hearts, he just hit the hearts. We didn't hit a full house, so we're vulnerable here. At most, we might be calling a raise. I guess he thought that we had that we were calling with the hearts on that previous street. Again, the ace-5. I'm going to play here. I'm going to see what we get. Diamonds and a pair of 5s. I'm pretty happy with diamonds and a pair of 5s. I'm still pretty happy with diamonds and a pair of 5s. I'm not going to have a low. He might have a low to split out on me, but that didn't come in anyways, and I've now got 2 pair. There are straights out there. But of course, he ended up hitting a higher 2 pair than we did. It's going to happen. So we got a pair of twos. Got 2-3 for low, which is pretty good. We've got a heart draw now as well, so I think we're going to raise here. We're in pretty good shape. I think we bricked our low, we bricked all our draws, but we still have a pair of deuces, and we don't have any low, obviously. The pair of deuces is good. I think I'm probably just going to check behind here. There's probably no value there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm really getting. I suppose I might have got a 4 or a 6 to fold there, but I'm not likely to get much else, frankly, to fold there. So I really don't think that there's any value there, and obviously I'm not getting anything that I beat to call. Right? I mean, there's ace highs are not calling there. I don't think. All right, so we move into the pot limit phase now. So obviously it's still largely the same game, of course, but the betting patterns change, and um, how you value your hands changes a little bit because of the change in the bets. Of course, this being heads up, we've got to play a ton of hands. We just totally sucked out with the queens. We're actually getting hit by a lot of these flops so far in this game. The club obviously is not our biggest friend. We do have the ace of clubs as a blocker, but that easily could be a card that is very, very, very bad for us. That said, being heads up, there's no reason to assume that he's on clubs. A HoldEm player, that fourth clubs will scare a HoldEm player. It's, of course, meaningless in an Omaha context because you can only use 3 cards from the board anyway. So the fourth club is, you can't take one club from your hand and make a flush out of that. So gonna check through here. Put some money in now. See if I can take down the pot. I think we're going to check behind. Pair of eights. I mean, obviously, anything that he's hit on that board beats us now. So I think just checking behind is the way to go. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I mean, there was really nothing. If he hits a 6, he's got trips. If he hits the 9, he's got a higher pair than me. So there's really nothing on that board that I can. We don't have to play every single hand in heads up. We're going to play probably, we're probably going to be 85 to 90% at least, simply because we are heads up, and therefore, there's no reason for us to be getting out of most hands. So we hit our queen. We're going to throw some money in the pot, see if we can't value this a little bit. 2 pair now. So we're in still pretty good shape. The hearts obviously could be, he could obviously be playing hearts, but again, in a heads-up game, you can't be assuming that he's playing hearts. Alrighty, so I've got queens and nines. An ace queen's obviously going to call me here that I beat. What am I going to get to fold? I could easily get. There's no queen 2 pairs that beat me. I could get trips to fold here potentially, but again, I've waited too long now, and I'm just going to check behind. So we hit a pair of aces, actually 2 pair of aces and eights. So I think that we're going to let him continue to lead into the pot since it's his lead here. So we're going to be check calling these streets a lot. Our 2 pair just got counterfeit somewhat, and obviously the king, any king out there is gonna hurt us a lot. But we're still strong enough, I think. We've got basically the nut 2 pair now with the aces and kings with the queen high. So that's a very strong high-low hand, whether your head's up or not. So it's one that we're going to play for sure. These heads up sit and goes, obviously you start at very low blind and stake levels. So the early stages, there's not a lot of movement in the chips and things like that. Um, so it's, something that changes the dynamic of the game. Obviously, we would normally be nine-handed here or something, and therefore there'd be a lot more, or a lot less, there'd be a lot more play, I guess, involved rather than here. I mean, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of chips changing hands for a couple of levels, probably. Right, so we got a pair of sixes and a pair of jacks to go with it. There's been very few low. Actually, there's been very few low hands in this game so far. Um, so we hit our pair of nines. We got nines and aces now. Still on an outside chance of a low draw, but great check behind with that flush coming in. Um, Again, a Hold'em player might think that that three gave us a straight, but of course it doesn't because we're playing Omaha, and therefore there's. Um, hey, I think that's our first. I think that's the first example of a split pot with a low in this game so far. So we hit a pair of kings here. Um, Got a decent low happening too, so I think we're going to definitely see one more street. So the low bricked out. We've got kings and sevens at the moment. If he was playing a seven, we're obviously in pretty bad shape at the moment, but another split pot. So one of the problems with a high-low game heads up, of course, is that there is going to be a lot of splits between it. So there's going to be a lot of hands where there's not a lot of movement, not a lot of change happens. So we got a pair of threes. Actually, we got two pair of threes. No, we got a pair of threes. I do have a low draw, but I think I'm just going to get out of this one now. I think I'm going to turn off the snow cam. It's a nice, gorgeous day out here, but the sun, I think, is just going to be a bit annoying on people. So cam's going off. Alrighty, we are hitting flops like crazy in this game. We've got a set of fours now. We've got straight draws like crazy. We've got not low draws like crazy. We are hitting cards absolutely. I think with a full set of clubs out there, I'm just going to check behind and see what we get. I still don't really have anything at the moment. I do have a low draw, and we've now got an up and down straight draw. But I think it's actually with the straight draw. I think there's a reason to put money in the pot. Deuce three for in a heads up game is definitely something we want to play. Our low draw is looking very good now. We've got deuce 3-4-5 for a low draw. That's obviously a hand that we're going to play in a high-low context. Pair sixes with the nut low draw still. We are going to play more of this. Of course, we've lost our low now. We've got a pair of sixes and a pair of kings. Does he need to have a king? No. Could he have a king? Absolutely. Maybe I'm throwing 80 chips away, but we're going to call here. Doesn't have a king, but he does have a pair of queens, which is a really good hand at this point. Up and down straight draws here. That's just hit our straight, so we're pretty happy with that. We're going to put money in the pot. So far, it's all been pretty even. We've been trading chips back and forth quite a bit. With the pair of queens and the clubs, I'm going to see a flop here, heads up. It's obviously not the friendliest. It gives us two pair, but I'm not entirely sure we're in great shape there, but I guess we are, since he folds to us. Going to be raising most of our buttons almost regardless of hand, I think. So when we're on the button, let's check this one through to 6th Street or to the river and see what we get. Don't have anything, so I'm basically on an ace high at the moment. Well, pair kings, ace high, obviously, but yeah, I'm just gonna check behind. Oh, I didn't even realize I had a low. I should really pay more attention to the lows. Not a good low hand, obviously, but I think that because of that, we are going to play it aggressively pre. This could easily be a split pot at this point, but we could quite possibly be even losing this pot at this point. But we're in. I'm guessing he doesn't have a 10, or else he wouldn't have been thinking this long. I'm not sure what else, other than a two pair now, beats me. So, yeah, I think he's probably folding there. I just showed that one just so that he had a chance to see it. I don't mind giving away a little bit of information now and again, especially in a situation like this where he's going to see it in 3 minutes anyways. I'm guessing he's watching. Josh is watching the stream as well. So check behind here, see what we got. Don't have a low this time. Just a pair of 10s with a king high. I don't really think that's going to be something that pays off for me very often. So I think we're going to get out of the hand here. That's a fairly nice looking high-low hand, obviously. I could certainly re-raise this to get more value in the pot because of how good it is, but I think I want to see a flop first. Mostly because you see flops like that sometimes. And hitting the two pair there is obviously not what we were looking for. That's sort of the kiss of death in a high-low game a lot of times when two of your low cards end up hitting two pairs. Especially when a flush comes on the turn. That just makes life that much worse. Now, we did actually end up with a low 753 or 8753 deuce. I think heads up, it's probably worth putting money in, and we're going to split this. So we're back to the limit game again. It's a nice flush draw. We're going to put money in that pot almost certainly. Pair of nines, straight draws up top. We'll see what happens with the flop. That's a pretty nice flop for our hand. The pair of tens obviously makes it somewhat worrisome when he comes back and does an insta re-raise on us. But I think that it's something that we can't really avoid being a part of here. Alrighty, so he's trying to make a move on us on that last street, which is not a huge surprise in a game like this, especially heads up. We got the flush draw. I'm just going to check behind here as a bit of a stealth move. I could put the bet in now. So we bricked all of our draws. We've got a pair of jacks, basically, is what we've ended this hand with. And something we're going to lose to a pair of queens. Pair of kings. We got no low draw, but let's see what we get for a flop. Go from there. There is going to be potentially a low here. Still pretty happy with our high at the moment, though. So there's our low. Opens up a straight draw for us as well. He could be splitting with a low here. That doesn't really do anything for us. Doesn't hit our straight draw. Gives us kings and sevens basically for our high. So we've still got our 8-6 for low, which could easily be good in a high-low game, or in a heads-up game, I mean. So definitely worth some money, I think. Same here, A7. We got a really good low draw now. In a heads-up scenario, it's going to be relatively rare that more than one person has a low. We bricked everything here, but we still have our pair of sevens. That raise is probably meaning he's got a jack, I think. It's not really going to be profitable a lot to bluff that spot in a limit game. So I think I can be fairly happy that he had a hand there that was beating my pair of sevens. So our low and our heart draw came in, which is pretty sweet. So we're gonna want to bloat this pot a little bit. Brick the turn. Low draw came in. Otherwise, we have bricked. We have no high. We have an ace. Well, we have an ace high, obviously. So gonna split that pot. I think our two flush draws here are absolutely enough to see with. So we hit our pair of fives, which doesn't really make our pair of sixes any better. So we got sixes and eights at the moment. We don't have a low draw, however. We now have full house, fives full of aces, or fives full of eights. The problem is If he has an 8, he has our... No, actually, we don't have a full house. This is Omaha. What am I talking about? We have just got a set of 5s. If he has an 8, then he has us beat. But he does have his low anyways, so which we were not able to meet. Flipping over to pot limit once again. We are at 1530 for our limits now, so things are going up a little bit. We are going to be raising, as I said, most of the time when we're on the button, as you do in heads-up play. Probably continuing our aggression with C-bets a fair bit as well, as you tend to do in heads-up play. That gives us the nut flush, which is a woohoo. There is a low possibility out there, but that we don't have, but he may well have it. That ace is obviously problematic because there could be a full house out there, but being heads up, it's not really going to be, you can't really expect that he's going to have that a lot. So we split that again. He had the low, we had our flush for high. This is a pretty good low hand, obviously, so I think we're certainly going to continue there. I might have easily re-raised there. That flop was obviously not the best for us. It does give us probably top pair, but, well, I mean, obviously gives us top pair, but I mean the best hand, but I'm not 100% certain of that, actually. Alrighty, so is this the one that we want to put our chips in on? We may as well, I think, see what we've got. This is a spot where I can still easily be good for half the pot on this one. Splitsies. Usually raising on the button, but I figured I'd just limp in on that one. Tens and threes, I think I'll put half a pot bet in. I'm going to play this one. I've obviously got low possibilities. We've got a low now, 7-6-4-3 ace, which is good. Pair of sevens for our high hand as well. Pretty happy about that. That opens up an open-ended straight draw. So I think we're pretty happy to keep putting money in the pot. I think we've absolutely got low, I think. That does not give us straight, but we've still got our pair of sevens, and we're pretty happy that our low draw or that our low was gonna be the winner there. Diamonds came in, pair of queens. It's obviously a very good flop for us. We've been saying that a lot this game. So, Josh, if you're listening, one of the reasons that I have more largely because I've been hitting the cards. The deck has been hitting me fairly nicely through this game. So I'm not entirely sure that there's been much of a skill difference so far in this game in any stretch of the imagination. Lows and straight draw possibilities, so I'm pretty happy to keep putting money in here. That gives us jacks and sevens. Still pretty happy, I think, with the low draw to put money in here and the straight draws. I think we're going to call his all in here just because we're too strong not to, I think, with our draws. Scoops the pot as we brick our low draw. Obviously got the nice flushes and low draw there. Ace 5's not a bad low draw. We got diamonds working for us. The ace king is going to be a reasonably good high hand, so we're definitely playing this one. No reason to get rid of this one so early in the hand. Ace deuce 3 is obviously a great set of low cards for us. Josh is the one that's got the betting lead here, so let's let him continue with the betting lead. The pair of kings is just giving us kings and deuces. Deuce is obviously a card that he usually has in his hand for the low draw possibilities. Um, but at this point, I think we have to assume that we have the best hand in both ends and go from there. It's good to see some people out there. Let you know what we're doing here. Good friend of the stream, Josh Bowman, has been wanting to play some heads up sit and goes with me while he's been watching the streams. And finally found some time where we could get together and do that. So thought that I would throw it up on the stream as well and do that. We are playing a $1.50 mixed Omaha high-low tournament, which basically means we play limit Omaha high-low, then we play pot limit Omaha high-low. This is obviously a hand that I want to play with. We've got all sorts of straight draws happening. Our low is pretty good. We got a pair of queens as our best for high at the moment, but I guess still have to think that I'm probably best here. We're going to see a street here. Obviously, the deuce 4-6 is a good low possibilities. We've come out with a flush draw, so we're going to, again, let Josh keep the betting lead going. The king of diamonds does not help us in any way whatsoever. We do not have a low draw anymore. We're just working on clubs for our high, so I think we're going to get out of this one. So a pair of deuces, and we've got our spade draw happening. The low is not good for us since we paired our deuce, but we're still working on a. Actually, we got two pair, kings and deuces. I didn't see that. Oh, we now got full house, so we're good for high. Our high is definitely good, and there is no low, so we're good for a full pot there. We are hitting flops. There's no question about that. I think we're gonna assume that this is gonna be the final. Quartered him. Still in the game though. We'll go all in this one. See how we go. Looks like when this one's over, we're gonna do a no limit hold'em. Heads up, sit and go. I'll let him take this one. Shouldn't assume I'm going to win here. That's not necessarily a given. It's looking pretty good at the moment, but he is deciding to play every hand, I think. So we are going to have to do the same. Flush draws, so I think we're there. Oh, bricks the flush. And there we go. He's right back into it. Three, 6, 5. We've got an up and down straight draw now, so I'm pretty good with that. And obviously we've got the 5-3 for low as well, so I'm good with that. think he's trying to get the game over with. Split pot though. That's a pretty good flop for us. It's still a pretty good flop for us. The five's obviously not good for our low draw, but check behind here, I think. Ooh. Josh is creeping back up. Just a pair of threes. I think we're out of this one. We're definitely playing this one with the ace-6, jack-10. Not the most favorable flop for us in the world, obviously. Doesn't mean we can't c-bet, though. He check raises us in this spot. Good chance that means he has a queen, I think. No reason why he shouldn't have a queen there. So no reason why I shouldn't believe him. He's back in the lead. Josh is back in the lead again for the first time in a little while. He was actually ahead for a good portion of the early going here, but pair of sevens with a six deuce low draw. I think I'm pretty happy with this pot. I'm gonna let Josh continue the betting though. That's not the best card for us, obviously, because it gives us, it gives us two pairs, so it's good for our high, but it really does make our low draw a lot more vulnerable. Doesn't mean we can go anywhere, just means that we're not as happy with the situation as we once were. And we're actually far less happy now with that 8 coming out. Might be a reason to actually bet into this pot, but that'd look a little fishy, I think, since we haven't been betting throughout the entire hand. I think our two pair has to call here. So a pair of threes, and we've still got our six deuce for low, so I'm pretty happy with what we're doing here. So I think I'm going to keep putting money in the pot. I do have the betting lead, so I'm expected to bet here. That's just developed into a flush draw for us as well. So there's no reason for to go anywhere, I don't think, here, and I think that continuing to put the pressure on is the way to go. I think this is where we call all in, because we've got a good low draw. We've got a flush draw. We're probably behind at the moment, but I don't think we can fold here. Split pot. Let's see what we get here. Not a lot of chance of a low, so I think we're pretty happy with the spot we're in now with the pair of kings. I'm not really liking the spades, but there's no real reason to put him on spades either. This being so the low did come in. We got a pair of kings and a pair of tens. Given that he checked back on the turn, I think throwing some money in as a value bet is probably not a terrible thing there. Nines and deuces. I think I'd rather put pressure on pre-flop. That said, there's not much relevance to that anymore because I'm betting every time on the button. So I think we're just we're just checking behind here. So we don't actually have anything at the moment. We got a pair of nines and a pair of tens. Oh, well, a pair of nines, a pair of jacks is basically all we've got. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to think that we're ahead. Hey Shen, how's it going? I'll do my best not to let this kid beat me. He's good though. He's good. He's a good high-low player. We got a bit of a low draw happening here. A pair of jacks, obviously on the high. I think with top pair, I think we're gonna try to put some pressure on. See how that goes. Gives us a diamond draw as well. Our low has obviously just disappeared, so there is no low. We check raised on the flop. I think we're just going to call behind on the river or on the turn here. So that gives us jacks and fives. The Motown hand. I'm going to let Josh do the betting. At this stage, we're getting most of our stacks in if we go to the river on a lot of these things. There's no low here. There certainly could be top straights, but I don't think I can afford to fold. Yeah, it's straights. We're in on this one. And that's it. Alrighty, so that's Josh and I doing our uh, heads up high-low. He has just taken me down. It was a good match. It was looked like I was going to take him down at one point. I had him down to about 100 chips, but he fought his way back and got us. Ended up coming back to even again. So pretty good on that. I think we're probably gonna. Let's just see here. Give it a second here. It's just showing the hand now that was my downfall. Or one of them. No, I think it's this next one coming up that's going to be my downfall. It's getting close. So it was a lot of fun, actually. It's good to do. I do need to have a bit of a break, though. So I think I'm actually going to mute the mic and go for a bit of a break, and we'll come back and see what we're going to do after that. I think I might be cutting the stream off because I know we're back in 2 hours with the weekly challenge as well. So I will be back. was a fun game with Josh. I think I want to do this again as well. Actually, gonna have a chat with him, and we'll probably set this up for another day. Maybe do a few more of them. Uh, Go from there because it was a lot of fun. It was. It's nice to play heads up because it's a different strategy. You have to play more hands. There's more to think about and talk about with when it gets down to the river decisions and so on. So makes it kind of interesting. But I really, really, really enjoyed it. Josh, thank you for talking me into this. And we will definitely, I think, do this sort of thing again. So it's been great to see you. I hope to see everybody back in 2 hours for the weekly challenge. Today we are actually playing No Limit, single draw, deuce to seven. It's what we tried to play last week and got it wrong, but this week we have got it. I'm hoping that Roz is going to be there for us today because I was listening to the radio yesterday, and apparently the Philippines is in the middle of a typhoon. So I'm hoping that she's got power and she's safe and that she's good and she's going to be with us today and everything's going to be good. So we'll see what happens, but check back here in a couple hours and we'll see you for the weekly challenge. Later.